I'm just coming in. Aye, sorry, it's just me. Yep, sorry. Oh, it's alright, don't worry about it. Hello everyone, this is AJ4992 and today we're back for the brand new video, and I don't really know how I'm going to discuss a game of football like this, ladies and gentlemen. It was filled with so much madness. There was a red card, there was missed penalties, there was constant VAR checks, on occasion throughout, sprinkled evenly throughout all the lengthy VAR BS. There was some football actually played that was stressful, sore, on occasion filled me with anxiety and probably grew grey hairs in positions I'm not comfortable telling publicly regarding a game of football that finished Rangers 4, Kilmarnock 1. How? And you know, I say how not in terms of like we stole the points today. How did we manage to get that win or anything like Kilmarnock deserved and were robbed of the points? It's no that usage of the word how, because I mean statistically if you look at this game, every single category heavy in favour of Rangers Football Club. You know what I mean? I think we had over 35 shots compared to what Kilmarnock were able to muster. Again, on paper as one-sided as it actually comes, but again the game's only played on paper, and if you watch that game with your very own eyes you know exactly why I'm using the word how, because how were we behind for so long versus Kilmarnock when they didn't even have a shot on target? You know what I mean? That there, troops, we were behind for 49 minutes, no actually 52 minutes of this game of football to Kilmarnock, despite Kilmarnock not getting a shot on target. That sums everything about this season and what following this football club is like these days, because it's never easy, it's never simple. Even an absolute smashing in terms of the statistical point of view isn't that enjoyable. We didn't get a stress-free, easy 3 points up the road. No, we've quite overcome so much BS and so much nonsense that it drives you absolutely mental. But aye, ladies and gentlemen, I'm absolutely delighted in this win. But by God, do we make it hard for ourselves? But before we do go ahead and speak about this game that trust me needs to be spoken about, we're going to be busy today by the way. Before we break down some individual performances for the actual match, just a wee brief word on the old opposition Kilmarnock. Good game, lads. Love that. Let's keep the morale and let's keep that mentality up there at that level with battling and fighting for every ball. Let's not be affected by the loss today to Rangers. I need you all to just keep up. Be goldfish. Forget the result. Think about your positives and good luck in your next Houghton match. I really, really hope he's win. In all seriousness, in terms of this actual game, pulling in the reins a little bit, I've truly never seen anything like this game, especially the first 25 minutes on the clock. After 25 minutes, you could argue there was about 11 minutes played, if that, in terms of actual football, because it was non-stop VAR, it was non-stop this. I felt like I was watching either the NBA where they have breaks every 2 seconds and you see the same burger advert flew in your direction, air and air again, or sitting watching the NFL, and it did get me thinking, is this what they're wanting? Are they wanting the constant breaks? Are they wanting the constant stoppages on play so they can start funneling more adverts and get more money into football? Maybe, ladies and gentlemen, because that's the way it felt. It was so stop-start that I was sitting back saying, this isn't even football anymore. You know what I mean? Football is the most popular sport in the world because it's so simple. You just need goals. You can make them out your J-kits, your whatever. Put it in there, you run about for 90 minutes and it's all said and done. That's why we love football. But this stop-start, check this, check. Offside in the build-up, was there a foul in the build-up? There was there was very little played, actual football played in the opening 25 minutes of what is a massive game between Rangers and Kilmarnock. And it's just a wee reminder why I'm rapidly falling out in love with football. And I'm not talking about in terms of that mean, I'm just meaning it just for a sport in point of view. I mean, I love Rangers and I will watch every second and I will kick every ball for Rangers, but I can't go out there and watch other teams now, troops, because it's all like this now. Do you know what I mean? It's not just this, or it's not just our poor officials. It's constant. Everyone's getting referred to. Referees are too scared to this. Linesmen don't want to do this in case they're wrong. Just rely on the technology, and then the technology's wrong. Then the people get it wrong. It's air and air again. And if you were maybe anti-VAR, or if you want more strict back from the technology that's now implemented, the first 25 minutes of this game will back you up there, and it's hard to argue against because it was putrid. It was non-stop. Stoppages Think about it. And instead of maybe focusing in on individual performances, I think we're just going to dive right into the game recap because they're going to come up a part of it, especially when we get to a half-time substitution. And you all know where I'm going to go with this. But pulling it into the start, again, there was VAR checks just 2 minutes on the clock as there's a throw to Sterling. Sterling tries to chip it up. And now, by the letter of the law, it hits the Kilmarnock's player hand, right? Or arm, if you will, right? And I get the whole hang out of it, it's his arm, blah, 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 but I just didn't understand what we're actually doing with it, boy, and this is where my problems actually are. The boy is between me and my hand away for it, you know what I mean? Where's he supposed to put his actual hand? And I'm saying this as a Rangers fan, complaining that shouldn't have been referred to, and I don't understand why VAR officials are holding the game up for 5 minutes, then telling the referee to come and have a look at that. Where's the Kilmarnock boy supposed to put his arm? I know this isn't blue tinted specs of me and it's no bias for me or anything like that, but that's just never a penalty, lads, you know what I mean? I know we need the goals, I know we need the goal difference and everything like that, I know we want to score as many. If we score, got a penalty there, maybe Tavernier scores it, it's a different game, I get all that, but it's just never a penalty. And why on earth is the VAR officials going and asking the referee? And I'll be honest, I didn't think the referee had his best day overall in terms of some of the decisions they made and maybe swallowing a couple yellow cards, but I'll give him credit where credit's due. He's been called over to the monitor looking at that again, a home ground like Rangers with what's at stake there, and he's been able to hold his bottle just to say that isn't a penalty kick. And again, people only like me saying any stuff, but it's just never a penalty. The referee sticks with his on-field decision and goes against the VAR officials. My only question would be, why is VAR telling the referee to go and try and give a penalty? Because they think it's a penalty because they've went and checked offsides and everything like that. So, aye, the referee disagrees, and I actually agree with the referee. But just 90 seconds after that lengthy VAR call, there was another lengthy wait as we get the ball. Sterling so brave, winning a 50-50 challenge. It springs to Dessers. Dessers sprints in, using his pace, using his power, cuts away for the defender. The defender brings him down. I'm thinking, it's a penalty kick that we play on. We pass it to Lunny. Lunny hits it into the back, and I'm like, it's alright, I'll take the goal instead. But I'm pretty sure the referee had blew his whistle just before Lunny had hit it. Anyway, and then you're sitting saying, is it a goal? Is it not a goal? We're checking Son, we're checking offsides, and usually when Desser's involved, you know he's usually offside, and there was a lengthy call, and I mean lengthy. Now, I've actually seen the images, troops. This took them 3 minutes. This isn't me joking or being over. This took them 3 minutes to gauge this was offside. What are we doing? I'd also argue, what is Dessers doing, no getting back on side and believing in his teammate to win a challenge like that? But you know, Dessers, he's an enigma and he has his quirks, unfortunately. And honestly, 10 minutes in, just before you know what is about to actually be spoken about, I actually turned around and I was like, this is actually the best we have looked for a while. This is the best start to a game of football, despite the interruptions. I'm talking about when the ball was eventually played, some of the forward passing, Lunny out to Cantwell, bringing it down on a sixpence, bringing in Dessers, so we tried to bring, I'm like, alright, we're springing in, we're creating chances, we're actually looking good. Oh my god, they've crossed it once, and somehow we're behind. And it's really hard to continue to break these kind of goals down because it's the same stuff every time. Now, Barisic was selected again today because of injuries. Ridvan wasn't selected, obviously, because he was touch and go regarding that. And I know he was the cover player for the magazine and obviously fired out on Twitter because it's Barisic's last home game. They didn't come out and say that, but we all know why he was actually did. But I just didn't understand it, ladies and gentlemen, because it's no good enough to actually be starting games of football. And this shows you why it is. I know he was good 3.5 years ago, but it's no good enough now as he has yet another vital mistake. If you look at the last 2 goals Kilmarnock has scored versus Rangers, Barisic has had his hand in both in more ways than one, if you think back to Rugby Park. He's just weak here. Danny Armstrong takes him for a walk, and then Barisic looks like he's getting his foot on it, then he just like misses the ball. I think it passes it back to Armstrong. Armstrong passes it backwards to Polworth, I believe. He absolutely crosses it in. I'm going to crucify Silva here as well because it's so lazy, and it's the left hand side of Rangers that's so bad. It makes me so nervous for next week because it's bogging that side, especially when it's Barisic and Silva. Silva doesn't get anywhere near his man, allows the cross to come in, and Tavernier stuck with a wee bit of deer in the headlights scenario with the area of the game that he's always been poorly. A ball in behind him, he never seems to get turned around. I think he is better defensively than a lot of people say in terms of his tackling and his interception and everything like that, but he's always had that one glaring issue, it's checking what's behind him in terms of crosses. He's got no idea where Kennedy is now. Again, I've been critical of Tav here, I've been critical of Silva here, I've been critical of Barisic here, But again, at some point you need to hold your hands up and just say, how unlucky are we here? Because Matty Kennedy scuffs his kind of volley cross. I don't know what he's trying to do. Maybe he doesn't. He kicks it in his own foot off the grunt. It pops up, hits Tav's hand and goes in to the back of net. You know what I mean? You can see how bad it is defensively, and I've done that in today's video. But again, can we not just have a tiny bit of luck? A boy's fallen on his arse, scuffing a ball, and somehow it curls perfectly, hitting Tav's outstretched hand and goes in to the back of net. And we're going to talk about a penalty in the next couple of minutes in terms of Rangers with another handball. Apart from that, he didn't go in, that he came out, red cards, etc, etc, and there will be a discussion point. But just to underline this quickly, because I've seen a couple of people saying, why was Tavernier no sent off for handball on it? It went into the back of net. He didn't deny a goal scoring opportunity. He scored it. But again, I'm almost numb to that feeling now, and numb to us being so bad, and numb to us getting beat so easily by one singular cross every single game. But it was all about the response, and to be fair, Rangers actually responded. I'm going to have a lot of frustrations with the first half, so I'm not just happy clapping or anything like that if that's what you're actually thinking. But you talk about the way we responded. Lunny gets on the ball and drops one on a dime for Silva, who's timed his running behind. His first touch is absolutely brilliant. I know we all didn't rate him to the player that he probably should be or could be with his talent that he's clearly got, but it's a phenomenal touch. He plays it in or he's having a shot, and anyway it looks like Sterling's getting there, but the big, I think it's centre half right that gets there, swings at it, clearly wipes out Sterling. I'm screaming, it's a penalty again. I'm up shouting, it's a penalty, it's a penalty. Then after a wee quick look at, the linesman, he's given offside for Silva, and I'm going, oh my God, I can anywhere forward stay on side. And then, again, for the third time in 15 minutes, there's a lengthy VAR making. You're sitting waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. You're sitting looking around saying, what about this? What about this? You're waiting, and then eventually the first phase of play is checked, it's not offside. And then the next phase of play is checked, is it a foul, which clearly it actually is. And they end up going a step further, as I didn't know it hit his hand. I thought he just wiped the ball out, but it hits his hand as well, and he's denying a clear goal scoring opportunity as he just takes out Silva using his hand as well. And aye, it's quite clearly a red card and a penalty to Rangers. I'm not seeing the conspiracy stuff that people's find out. Why was Tavernier done this and that's done that? I think it's quite clear. If you take your bias out and you just look at the game of football, that was a tap-in if he's not getting wiped out and using his hand. And aye, I wish it was, because upset Tavernier, and to be fair, he does miss it here, right? And yes, people will say, well, he scored an own goal, then missed a penalty. The Tavernier hatred and that will kick off there, but I actually think he's took a phenomenal penalty, if I'm honest. Like, if we're being honest, it's great. It's just, sometimes you have to hold your hand up and say the goalie's just been better on that occasion, as he starts a mile behind his line and he gets down low, strong hand, because Tavernier's not hit that decent height. It's down low. It's a brilliant save by Dennis, and Dennis has been one of the most impressive goalkeepers this season, and it didn't shock me to see him save it, but aye, I did expect the skipper to step up and score it, but aye, he's missed these last couple now. Maybe a conversation needs to be actually had there, because he's not exactly firing them in all cylinders. But great save. But I'll be honest, when the penalty was given, I went, yes. And then the red card was given, I was like, yes, here we go. This is going to be a cricket score. We're starting well. And then we missed the penalty. Then I see them take Danny Armstrong off, which I was delighted with, by the way. But I'm thinking, there is not many worse teams in this league to be 1-0 down behind and against 10 men. Because again, that mentality of parking the bus and making it difficult and being well structured is in their DNA. Well structured is what they are all about, and I was absolutely crapping myself, and you could genuinely make an argument despite them being down to 10 men, it wasn't beneficial to us, because it just slotted them in even further, and dare I say it was comfortable for Kilmarnock for a wee while. And I think it was that because of a mixture of different things. One, again, it suited Kilmarnock down to a T. That is who they are, hard working, especially when you give them a goal to lead. But also, we just never had enough quality for the sake of it, ladies and gentlemen, for a large part of that first half. Yes, we had maybe corners and all that, but every corner was wasted. Every corner was crap, ladies and gentlemen. To be fair, we were at least trying different stuff with the corners in terms of shot then putting in, but we've not really got any aerial threat at all. It was all bread and butter stuff, and it's why you go from 15 minutes in. I know we eventually took the penalty about the 23rd minute, by the way, because it took that long with VAR, but you're jumping right into 45th minute territory plus additional time before you're talking about the next major opportunity for Rangers. And that should be something that needs to be identified, and that needs to be something that needs to be looked at, especially against 10 men at home. It takes you over 25 more minutes to get a meaningful effort on target. But that meaningful shot was from Todd Cantwell, where it was sort of curled right in to the dishy Dennis. That's not what we're here to talk about. No, we're going to talk about another moment where Sterling bursts down the right hand side. He passes it back to Lunny, and Lunny hits another incredible pass to the back post, where Silva does really well to beat Lewis Mayo, who was very impressive again today, by the way, and he hits it in to the back of net. And that's where I start to look, and that's where I start to think, and that's where I start to get frustrated with John Lundstrom, because if you look at our first half, when we're not playing great, the two bits of genuine football and genuine quality has came from his right boot. It's his incredible range of passing, but what drives you mental is he has that in his locker. He really, really does. But he spends the majority of the game passing sideways or back the way, and that is why we're all sitting here with grey hair. He's better than what he shows for the majority of it, and a first half that needed real inspiration, whether you like him or no, or you're frustrated or no. John Lundstrom was the one to actually do it, and the proof is in the pudding with the chances that he created. It's a wonderful ball to Silva, and again, Silva scores. Now, more people are more interested than the celebration and the actual good bit of finishing for Silva, and then Lunny, but that sort of sums maybe my frustration up with a lot of the Rangers team as well, because we've just made it 1-1 versus 10 men. We're in a title race, we need to score goals, and boys are running away, shushing people, telling them to be quiet and showing the name. It's 1-1 versus Kilmarnock. We're in a title race. Where's the mentality? Grab the ball, let's go, let's score some goals. And it's not just a Silva problem, it's been a problem for a couple of times, and I think we see it a lot when we have easy opportunities to pass it and score it, but people go for individual glory. There's just too much individuality in terms of the way people approach Rangers Football Club these days, you know what I mean? Two caring about this or two caring about that. It's supposed to be a team. That ball should have been picked up instantly when we made that 1-1. I might be sounding like an old man right now, but I know more people are raging about the shush. I'm not caring about the shush or anything. Like, do whatever he's won. It's the fact that he's gone and celebrating it as well. I'm just like, really? Well, Rangers Football Club, get the ball. Let's get in front. But I imagine many people will be disagreeing with me in the comment section. Well, say players should be able to celebrate goals. Fair enough, ladies and gentlemen. I just think in the scenario, in the context of the game, shouldn't really be gone that way, especially when you start shushing and telling the quiet in the stands to be quiet. But anyway, moving in to the half-time, that was really pretty much the last kick of the ball. We go in 1-1, which is a much better position to be than what it was going to be 60 seconds before. Again, right foot of Lunny and the right foot of Silva goes ahead and gives us a lifeline. And then we come out at half-time and I'm seeing a sub, and I'm seeing Ben Davies, and I'm sitting there looking like the guy from Jurassic Park when he takes his glasses off, ladies and gentlemen. I'm like, oh my god, it's Ben Davies, and it's brilliant to see Ben Davies. I couldn't believe it. Wouldn't have liked to lose Balogun, no, to an injury, but again, it's apparently a minor back problem, so it shouldn't be nothing too serious. But the fact that substitution was made at that point of the game probably tells you that he might be missing for the weekend. But Rangers and injuries, you know how it goes. I was just delighted to see Ben Davies, and I know he frustrates and annoys a lot of people, but I just like him, and the reason I like him is he's our only natural, besides Balogun obviously, of course, but he wasn't playing for a large part, our only natural left centre-back, and I just think he brings a balance, and he's usually a good counterpart, and because he keeps his mouth shut and he listens and everything like that, and I thought the partnership with Goldson was good, etc. So I was excited to see him come in, because I think he has been given a really poor time of it, because his last game was Betis, all the way back then, and his last league game was October, I think, ladies and gentlemen, if I'm going back that way. Does he deserve that? I don't think so. I know he's had a couple injuries, but with the disaster classes we've been seeing week in and week out at the centre halves, a guy we spent all that money for, should we maybe give him more opportunities? Probably in that aspect, but it was good to see Big Ben Davies on, and less than a minute into the game, he's trying one for 35 yards out, and I actually said he fancies it the day. I don't know if it was maybe a joke, because I'm sort of known as maybe the one of three Ben Davies fans in the Rangers support, but I said it, and I believed he had a wee bit of sun. But even in saying that, I didn't expect him to be the one to cause the difference in the next couple of minutes. But between the 60th minute and the 71st, Rangers absolutely cooked Kilmarnock, and really could have made this goal difference that everyone's talking about obsolete with a chance after chance after chance. It's just unfortunate they fell to Dessers. There was a great ball from Tavernier to Sterling, who runs down the channel, tries to pull it back to Dessers but doesn't quite get onto it, but then Dessers reminded why the frustration is there. And you all know how I feel, you know what I mean? I want to love Cyril Dessers. I really, really do, because he scored some big goals, he's had some good performances, and I do think he is better than a lot of people give credit for. But it's hard to argue and hard to battle against types of performances like this, because what on earth is he doing? Starts off brilliantly, chists it down, hold off the defender, plays with Diamandi, Diamandi plays it back to him, he's running in, he's got the goal right here, he's just got to hit it with his right foot, his stronger foot, he's right footed. He doesn't decide to do that, he tries to chop inside when he's got a clear sight on goal and loses the ball, and the whole crowd's like, what is he actually doing? And you can get away with one of them, right? One of them I'll give you, but you had three of them the day. But before we speak about Dessers' other moments, it was Silva next with a header over the bar where he probably should have done better. But from that actual attacking bit of play for us, pinning him in behind, we win another corner. We chip out to Lunny, FIFA Street style. Now I complained about it versus St Mirren because it was the 94th minute and we tried to do it and it ended up nearly costing us a goal. Balogun had to do a last ditch challenge inside the box to actually bail us out on that occasion. But I didn't mind that this, especially against 10 men when they're flooding the box, it was actually a good bit of play. Tavernier to Lunny. Lunny connects brilliantly with it. It's a save by the keeper, but who reacts quicker than anybody else in the actual box when they're strikers and £35 million players? There's all this attacking talent there. Big Benjamin Keith Davies, ladies and gentlemen, you know, Ben Davies goes ahead and scores the goal in maybe the most Ben Davies type of ways that sort of bundles over the net. But I've lost my mind, and ladies and gentlemen, to all the Ben Davies fans, all three of us, tonight is our night. And that must have been a wonderful moment for him as well, sitting there on the bench watching crap after crap for centre half after centre half and no getting the same chances as A, B or C actually gets and everything like that. So that must have been a big moment for him individually, and I thought he was great when he came on. I know he didn't have too much to actually do in terms of Kilmarnock been doing to 10 men, but they were a lot more quieter after Ben Davies came on than before it, and I thought he marshalled it very, very well. And aye, gets his big goal, and that just sparked Rangers into life. We just started salting and peppering their goal. First bit of salt and pepper and starts at the right foot of Tavernier's. He bends one beautifully into Dessers, who really should actually score here. I think he ends up mishitting it off his shoulder. It hits off the defender and goes out for a corner. That's the official story. I just think he's mishit it and it's went out and somehow we locked into a corner. If I'm being brutally honest with you, I didn't see it hitting the defender despite us getting a corner. I know the Kilmarnock players were going absolutely mental and Dessers was looking like he had won a raffle, but that's a major opportunity for Big Dessers on that occasion. And then a couple minutes later, it's wonderful again for Tavernier. He picks out Dessers 6-7 yards out, free shot on goal. He's just got to hit it. The ball's at him. He doesn't need to touch it. He doesn't need to drag it. He doesn't need to pull in. Just hit it. But somehow he fake shots, tries to cut inside, kind of weebles and wobbles, and then loses the football to the dismay of the fans. And I imagine every Rangers fan thought the exact same thing. What the hell is he actually doing? And I think back, right, because I go back to the game yesterday where Hearts actually played pretty well on occasions versus Celtic at Parkhead. You know what I mean? They had the chance blocked in the first minute. They were creating opportunities. They were forcing Joe Hart and he saves. But you know what changed that game from being a difficult game for Celtic and being what it ended up doing? Kyogo leading the line. 2 chances, 2 goals. And I know he didn't want me to be mentioning that ring, but that's important because I think back to Ross County. I think back to Motherwell. I think back to Dundee. The chances that come our way that we miss. I know he scored 20 goals. I know he's really likeable. But I want to win trophies. I didn't want to be second place all the time. And we need better than this. We really like him. I hope he scores next week. I hope he gets us what we need to get. But we just need better. And I couldn't help but see the chances Kyogo took against the run of play on occasion and say, we didn't take that. We've dropped points in that game when the opposition's been playing that good against us. It was called Motherwell. It was called Ross County. It was called Dundee. And aye, Dessers just had his game there. He was just bailed out by other people stepping up, especially the 2 centre halves that scored the day. And aye, hopefully I'm not sounding too critical and too harsh on Dessers, but it's almost unforgivable. And people say, well, strikers have always missed chances if they had scored this, blah, blah, blah. McCoy's done this and Jelavic done this. And no, I get what you're saying. But Dessers doesn't miss chances. He doesn't shoot. I just didn't get it. I really didn't. But maybe, just maybe, he's using his brain farts and freezing in front of goal a week earlier than normal. You know what I mean? Normally when he plays against Celtic, he does these moments. But maybe he's cashed it in early, a week early versus Kilmarnock, so he can go out there and be big game Dessers that he has been on occasions this season. Maybe he's playing 4D chess. Dessers, the floor is yours. But it wouldn't be a Rangers recap unless we talked about us hitting the bar in the 69th minute. We did that with Diamandi's cross/shot. But after the ball dropped to Ross McCausland, whose first touch was really poor, because he's got a chance there to hit that first time and probably score a goal because the goalie is on the deck. But Ross, again, young laddie, we know why he's in there, because everyone else is actually injured right now. But takes a touch, end up playing it back. Tavernier swings and hits it, ends up going out for a corner. And from that corner, ladies and gentlemen, we create another opportunity. But aye, it's at least positive attacking football, and positive attacking football takes me to the substitution that was made as Tom Lawrence came on the park. And for the first time in maybe 6 months, I've actually seen who Tom Lawrence is. And again, I think he's been really poor over the last couple of months. And I know people saying, well, he's been playing deeper. No, let's go back to Old Firm when he's played in the number 10 role, when he's chipping balls out and everything. Let's no be blind to incidences. But this was the Tom Lawrence that I thought we were getting, and when we seen him come back to the starting 11, this is the Lawrence, because it is pure quality. He gets the ball, he runs, he takes 4 Kilmarnock players out, he nutmegs the Kilmarnock player, he turns away from the Kilmarnock player, and then he just curls it almost effortlessly into the top bin with genuine quality for that Welshman's right foot. It's ridiculous, ladies and gentlemen, but it's more of what I wanted to see for Tom Lawrence, because that's exactly what he's got in the game. That's exactly the confidence he's got. And he was brilliant when he came on. I just feel frustrated and robbed again that we've not seen over the last couple of months, when we've been needing to actually see it, especially in the big games we threw points away. But again, we can't keep looking backwards. All we can do is go forward, and if Tom Lawrence is going to play at this level, that could be the difference, because you see the skill, you see the quality, you see the finish. It's gorgeous, and I don't know what I like better, the nutmeg, the skill move, the beating the 4 Kilmarnock players, the top bin finish, or the fact that he patched Fabio Silva's. High five. And the game's 3-1 now, ladies and gentlemen, and the game's truly over. It's all about just applying the pressure and really attacking. But again, we just took the foot off the gas, or maybe I'm being spoiled, or maybe I'm just being moany for the sake of moaning. But I just felt, once it was 3-1, it's there for us to go and get, but we just kind of started to play a wee bit slower, started to getting everybody involved in the play, and we really need that killer instinct. This goal difference is so damn important this season. But we eventually made some substitutions after a couple of minutes of flat play after making it 3-1, and on comes Ridvan, which was great to see, and on comes Raskin. And then we're watching a reality, ladies and gentlemen, that Raskin, Ridvan and Ben Davies is on the park at the same time. I don't know if I'm in the Truman Show, I don't know if this is made up, or I don't know if I've just created this entire scenario in my mind, because right now we just got beat 1-0 off Kilmarnock and I'm trying to protect my mental health. But whatever reality I'm living in right now, I kind of like it, and it's 3 players I'd like to see Mary. But we weren't done there, ladies and gentlemen. We started to get a little bit spicy towards the end, and after a Tom Lawrence shot that's kind of spooned up in the air by the goalkeeper, up steps big soapy Souttar, banging it in to the back of net and making it 4. And you could argue John Souttar and Ben Davies today had showed more attacking instinct to attack a ball into the mixer and attack a rebound in the mixer better than any of our attacking players. You could genuinely argue that, and it was great to see the 2 centre halves got a goal. You know what I mean? That's Ben Davies and John Souttar scored in the same game. The end is truly an eye, and maybe John Souttar will become the player a lot of people think he can be. Now he's going to be played at right centre back if he's going to be partnered with Ben Davies at left centre back. Let's not mention the last time that happened at Parkhead. I'm trying to enjoy my happiness right now, but that's how the game actually ended, ladies and gentlemen, and we get a massive win with a scoreline of a +3 goal difference, and you can't really complain with that, despite the game being poor for a lot of it. We dominated in certain aspects, and when we heated up, we got to a level that we would love to see more of. And it's one of the ones there you start to look at. We've got a defence that can't defend across, right? We just didn't. We've got a midfield that's put together by duct tape and dreams, because so many people get injured and we need to rely on certain individuals. We've got 0 width in our team, because all our wingers are injured, all our goal scoring wingers are injured. We're having to play forwards out of position, and we're having to play right backs out of position. It's just vibes out there. And we've got a striker who inexplicably just decides in certain games no to shoot. He's looking like Kobe Bryant versus the Phoenix Suns, if you know, where he just flat out refused to shoot in that game. And it makes you step back and you look at all of that You put all that in a vacuum, a ridiculous injury list, and think, how on earth is Phil Claremont actually doing this? You know what I mean? We've seen a lot of better managers struggle a lot worse with better scenarios than what Phil's got. And I see a lot of people being critical of Phil and starting to do this and starting to do that. He's got what he's got right now. He's having to play what he's got. And to get a tune out of what he's been doing is absolutely sensational bit of management in my personal opinion. I can just hope we've got a better tune next week, as we'll need to be a hell of a lot better. If we can stretch maybe for the 58th minute to about the 73rd minute over a 90, we'll win next week. If we didn't, could be an interesting one. But that's all we're here to talk about today, ladies and gentlemen. Rangers 4, Kilmarnock 1. The man of the match is a difficult one. I'll leave it to you down in the description below, or down in the comments below, and I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions on the game as well. As always, I've been CJ92. Thank you so much for watching. All the best, and bye-bye.